Shalom, we're once again here at the studios of WUFO right here in the city of Good Neighbors, Buffalo, New York. We just finished our radio broadcast, and I just wanted to talk a little bit more about what we were speaking about on the air. And I was talking about loyalty, trustworthy, and being faithful. I just like to read to you the meaning of these words. Loyalty is unswerving in alliance. It is faith to one's oath. Faith to one's oath. Also commitment and obligation. That's something right there, isn't it? The word loyalty. Trustworthy also is reliable to someone whom you place your trust and rest assured. And that means that someone can place their trust in you and rest assured that everything is going to be all right because you have proven to be trustworthy. And the word faithful is adhering firmly and devoted. Oh, these words, just the meaning of those words, make you check yourself. It makes you look at yourself and see where you fit in. And if these words can be applied to you, can someone say that's the way your character or your personality is? And it's so wonderful as a believer when Yahweh can look at you and look at you as being a loyal person, look at you as being trustworthy, and look at you as being faithful. And remember, in the word loyalty or being loyal, it said unswerving. You know, now you know how it is when you go around the curves. You know, it is so such a road that you have to be cautious. You know, because you don't want to fall off. So that means if you are unswerving, as Bishop So preached on yesterday, he also was talking about the straight and narrow. That means you're straight and narrow. It's like you almost cross every T and you dot every I. You make sure of your conduct and how you present yourself and how people look at you. One of the things I find out as believers, we are so into ourselves that we don't look at what does the other person think of us. How do people view us? Do people view us as being a loyal person? Do people view us as being trustworthy? Are we faithful? 2 minutes already? You got to be kidding me. Well, let me tell you about Abraham. Read for me, Sister Esther, Genesis chapter 18 and verse 19.
For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him.
I love that. Yahweh said, for I know Abraham. Now, you know, when a person sits back and say, I know so-and-so. You know, when they sit back and say that, that means everybody that is listening is looking to hear what you have to say about that person. You know, so Yahweh makes his statement. He says, I know Abraham.
Yes, he did.
And this is what I know about Abraham.
For I know him, that he will command his children.
He will command his children.
And his household after him. And they shall keep the way of Yahweh.
They're going to keep Yahweh's way. In other words, Yahweh is saying, I know Abraham. And I know that he's going to command his children to keep my way, to keep my laws, keep my statutes, to be moral, to be upright, and to present themselves in a way toward him. And that's what Yahweh said about Abraham. My time is running out, but I wanted to read to you in 2 Samuel. I might have to do another one. In 2 Samuel chapter 12 and 1 through 6. Just read a little bit. Read the last few verses, like 4 through 6.
And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd, to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come to him. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and he said to Nathan, As Yahweh liveth, the man that hath done this thing shall surely die, and he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing and because he had no pity.
Now, what David did here, he took a righteous stand for Yahweh.
Yeah.
When he realized that this man had done wrong and had did someone else wrong, he took a righteous stand. And what we have to do as believers, we have to take a righteous stand for Yahweh. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter what anybody else do. When you are loyal, you got to practice being loyal. When you are faithful, you got to practice being faithful.
Yes.
You got to practice being trustworthy. Well, Yahweh can impart unto you his good treasures that he has. When he can impart unto you his Holy Spirit. And when David found out how this man was, he had a righteous indignation. But the thing about it is, when Nathan told him this, and David picked up this righteous stand, then Nathaniel turned around and told him, guess what? You that man. You were that man that wasn't trustworthy. You were that man that wasn't righteous. You was the man that did wrong.
Right.
You gave that man, you were the one who did wrong. And what Yahweh told David, he told him later on in the scriptures you'll read, for this cause, because you wasn't loyal, because you wasn't faithful, because you wasn't trustworthy, you gave the enemy of Yahweh great occasion to speak against him. So as a believer, you got to fight to be right. You got to fight to be faithful.
Yes.
You got to fight to be trustworthy. It's not something that comes every day. You got to make a decision. You got to decide for yourself. You got to make a direct decision. I'm going to do what is right, regardless to what everybody around me is doing, regardless to what anybody says. I've got to be loyal. I've got to be faithful. And I've got to be trustworthy. And at the rock, you will hear us say,
absolutely